because some people want to join from outside India. So since this is the first session, I will do in the morning. If needed, I can do the repeat of the same session in subsequent days. I will most probably in couple of days, I will give the complete schedule of which days, okay, including weekdays we are planning to do. Mostly evening we are targeting around 6:30 to start. This will be around 1 hour session, roughly 1 hour session, where the teaching will be around 45 minutes, okay, and around 15-20 minutes or half an hour for the question answer. So question answer I want to emphasize because that will be kind of helpful for all. A couple of others. So whenever you have other instruction, whenever you have queries, you can interrupt. Just unmute at that time, and remaining the time, I think I request all to remain on the mute. Okay. So with this, let's start. So today we are going to talk about Patanjali Yog Sutra. I call Patanjali is a rock star of yoga. In fact, he touched everything. Okay? I don't see any area where you will not actually get kind of not reference of Patanjali. So I call him fondly as a rock star. So if you start studying more and more Patanjali, okay, it will definitely benefit all. So first we'll start with his prayer. Yogena chittasya padena vacha malam sharirascha yacha vaidyakena yopakarato pravaram muninam Patanjali pranjali rano tasmi. So it says, with my folded hands, okay, I bow to sage Patanjali, who give us clarity and purity of the speech, medicine for the perfection of health, that is Ayurveda is also by Patanjali. And let's actually kind of give bow him with this noble cause, okay, with my folded hands. So how exactly we are going to do is that I have my notes, okay, I just converted this into sort of PPT. I'll run through those notes. Whenever you have query, okay, you can stop me in between. Some of the portion may be outside syllables, but I will tell you this is only for information. Okay, so whoever actually want to can get details, they can do as per this one. But more focus will see that how exactly we should do the revision. Okay, so Patanjali Yog Sutra is yoga. Yoga is one of the 6 darshan, as you know that 6 darshan, and Patanjali is considered as a kind of founder for the Yoga Darshan, and the text that Patanjali Yoga Darshan has 196 sutras. Sutras means shlokas, but they call as sutras due to various reasons because they are in a structured manner, concise. Sutra should be such that it is giving you exact summary of meaning without any doubt. All these parameters or sutras, actually all his 96 shlokas are falling into those. That's why it's called as a sutra. So it's like a gist of the knowledge in 196 sutras. So if you look at it, entire Patanjali Yog Sutra has been divided into 4 chapters. They called as padas because this is a Sanskrit word. They call as padas. The first is Samadhi Pada, which is 51 sutras. So it talks about what is Samadhi, what are sanskars, what are the obstacles of yoga. So basically, it talks about why we are planning to do this. He starts with actually end goal. So end goal is Samadhi, and he explains that end goal in detail in the first chapter. So once he explains the end goal, then he talks about how to attain it. So that is Sadhana Pada. Next is Sadhana Pada, that is chapter 2 or Pada 2. It has 55 sutras. Then it talks about how you should do. Okay, what are the Ashtanga Yoga? What you start? Okay, what are the kleshas? What are the Kriya Yoga? How exactly you should do? What is the purification you should do? Okay. Then he talks about third is the Vibhuti Pada, which is 56 sutras. Vibhutis are nothing but what are the powers you get, okay, when you attain some kind of yogic level. Okay. Then he talks about Siddhi, he talks about Parinama, he talks about Sanyama. Okay. So these are the how exactly powers you get. At the same time, he cautions the Vibhuti path cannot be the goal. Okay, it is kind of one of the station in your liberalization journey, and he cautions that. So Vibhuti path talk about what are the benefits you get or what are the siddhis or powers you will get. Okay? And the last chapter is Kaivalya Pada. The smallest chapter is 34 sutras. Then he talks about whole purpose. Okay, how exactly you should attain, okay, liberalization in Kaivalya Pada. It has actually details of the power of chitta, three gunas, and the liberalization. So goal is liberalization. He talks about it. Okay. From exam perspective, you should know all names of the four padas. You should know how many sutras are there. It will vary from L1 to L2. Okay, so L1 expectation will be at least you should know name of the padas. Okay, for the L2 maybe you have to go a little bit deeper and understand how many sutras in each. Okay, so we'll go through each pada. Now I will try to maybe touch upon the details which are not part of the exam, but I will call it out. Okay, this only for reference perspective. So first is the Samadhi Pada. So Samadhi Pada has actually, it talks about chitta, chitta bhumis, chitta vrittis, how to exactly we should do chitta nirodha. Okay. So if you look at it, 1 minute, I'm just trying to join. Okay. So he talks about how exactly you should handle your mind, okay, and the body. So both talks. He doesn't talk in detail about the body. He only talks about asana as a reference, but he most talks about the mind because mind is the crux of all. Okay, and if you have actually some control on the mind, okay, you should be on path of the liberalization. That is actually summary of it. So in these chapters, Samadhi Pada, it talks about more details of chitta, chitta bhumis, vritti, mind, how exactly it works, what is actually from where it shows. And then he talks also about samadhi. Okay, how exactly samadhi you should attain, what are the types of samadhi. We'll just briefly go through all this. First he says, okay, Atha Yoganusashanam. So now he's saying is that his first sutra of Patanjali Yog Sutra. Okay. Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha. What is the purpose of the yoga? Okay, what he says is that the purpose of the yoga is restraining the modification of the mind. So that's how much importance actually he gives to the mind. So Patanjali more comes from the mind side, okay, of the liberalization. If you go to Hatha Yoga Pratipika, it more comes of the body, it's preparing the body. Patanjali gives the reference of how you should prepare the body in Ashtanga Yoga, okay, but he didn't go in details, and that subsequently other as Patanjali's descendants actually started actually going in details about it. Some other texts came, which will more talk about the body, how asana and all stuff. Okay. What actually the next sutra he talks about is, okay, this first 10 to 12 sutras are important, so that I will go in details because we're not able to touch upon all sutras, but exam perspective, first 10 to 12 sutras are more important. Then he talks about Tadadrashtu Sarupe Avasthana. Then the seer is established in own essential nature. What exactly means? Okay, seer means pure. Seer means pure consciousness. Seer is self. Okay, own nature. Own nature means identity. See exactly own nature. So when I actually interpret in this way, what is the own nature of ours? You just remember when we born at that time, what was our nature? We will be kind of free of all worries. We are always happy. Okay, so you see any child. Okay, always happy, it is a pure. Okay, so that is our own establishment, that is own nature. So how exactly you should actually get into that avasthana, the state of the abiding, or the where exactly you get into the states. And then he talks about all next sutras. Before getting into sutras, you need to understand the concept of chitta. Okay, what exactly chitta? And this is very, very important. I want actually all to do the attention to that. Okay, the chitta consists of 4 components, and there's also some actually kind of variation. I'll touch upon that. One is the ego. Ego is nothing but ahankar, me, myself, my. Okay, my dignity. It talks about me, that is self. Okay, it comes. It's part of the chitta, and it comes as inborn. Okay? Then, and that's actually differentiate man versus animal. So I've never seen the animal has ego. Okay, because maybe that actually their consciousness does not develop the ego. Okay? Then comes the mind. So mind is, from Sanskrit word is manas. Then comes the manas, means the how exactly you feel. Okay, I feel good, I feel bad, I feel worried, I feel extremely happy, I feel unhappy. All these feel factor is coming from the mind. Okay. Then comes the intellect, buddhi. Buddhi means actually differentiating between this or that, good or bad. I should go here or there. Differentiate and taking decision power is called as buddhi. Ego and buddhi, okay, it's more mainly actually the human intellect, is differentiated by the humans much more than other animals. And then comes memory. So memory is here is chitta. So that chitta, actually this is a little bit confusing. The chitta here, the overall concept has also memory, so it's called as chitta. Now, if you go down, it says that as per Upanishad, okay, the Antakarna has 4 parts. I request people to go on mute if possible. Okay. So, as per Upanishad, it is a chitta, that is storehouse of the our sanskaras. Then the buddhi, that is decision making facility. Then ahankara, the ego, and the manas, that is synthesizing facility. Okay. But there is no reference of buddhi in Patanjali Yog Sutra. Okay. Hence, chitta of the Patanjali may be considered as a buddhi of Upanishad. So that I think we can actually say as a consideration, just for additional knowledge perspective, because many times the word chitta will be used, many times the word buddhi, manas will be used. So I just want actually you should dwell upon these kind of details. Now we are coming very important topic, that is chitta bhumis. So you understand chitta is more of the mind. Bhumis means states, okay, from Sanskrit perspective. So what are the 5 states of the mind? So our always mind is always in the 5 states, and you observe yourself, you will never find any other states you are actually kind of in this one. So such kind of precise knowledge Patanjali sage has got at that time. Please keep yourself on mute if you're not talking. Shift things to disturb. Then the mudha means dull, okay. Then inner state of like inertia, it won't feel that okay you should do anything. Then vikshipta, it's completely distracted. The next comes the ekagra, that is it's more focusing on one topic, one task, okay? One goal. And then the last one is niruddha, that is actually more of the samadhi states, okay, this controlled one. So what are actually these states of the mind? And how exactly they are dealt with. So Patanjali first describes about the mind, then he talks about how exactly the modification of the mind happens, then how talks about how exactly the sorrow or actually unhappiness, from where exactly it comes, or happiness where exactly it comes, and then he talks about how exactly we should control. That's the flow. So I'm going in the same flow as per the chapter. Okay. So let's actually get in details about what are the different types of the mind. It's yes. I'm going to share this afterwards, so you can just note it down whatever you like, but don't write as it is. I'm going to share to all, okay, after this the entire document. The shift to mind is that it is actually, if you see, this is actually this is actually kind of trick, or you can say tip to remember. Shifter is nothing but monkey. Okay, here the monkey jumps from this topic to that topic, this tree to that tree. The mind is into that stage. So sometimes it will think about your childhood, sometimes think about what happened 15 years back. Sometimes it's just, next moment it will start happen what happened yesterday. Next moment it start what actually going to happen worry in next 3 years. All such actually starts thinking of. So it's like jumping from one tree to another tree. That's called as a monkey mind. Okay, so monkey is more of is not actually defined by Patanjali as a monkey mind, but this is interpretation. What is a shift? So we have to shift, you can correlate as a monkey. So if you visualize a monkey, how exactly if you can be distracted and jumping each other, then you will realize the shift to mind. The next is a mudha mind, is inertia, like a donkey. Okay, it is not doing much activity. It is lying on actually one stage, depending on one stage. You don't feel doing anything. Okay, so a lot of inertia. Okay, you don't many times actually don't feel doing anything. Just like you sit or lie on the bed for an entire day. Okay, but at that time your mind is in that stage. Okay, because mind is completely controlling your body, and it's not other way around. Then third is is vikshipta. So vikshipta is a butterfly. Okay. So butterfly is like these are the kshipta and mudha minds and more of the sorrow. You are into, you can say, in your low mood or bad mood. Okay. But vikshipta mind is like butterfly. It is in kind of good mood, bad mood, good mood, bad mood. Okay. That's actually jumping, flickering happens, keep on flickering happens. Okay. And that's actually your mind is coming as a vikshipta mind. So the correlation for the vikshipta is a butterfly. Okay. So you're jumping from one state of mind to other state of mind within a fraction of seconds. So once you remember, okay, very good actually memory of yours, and next moment you are remembering very bad memory of yours. Sometimes if you go through this mind phase, so it's called as vikshipta mind. Then fourth is ekagra, where you are only focusing. For example, what is ekagra mind? Now we are into these sessions, and you are completely absorbing these sessions. You are not getting any other thoughts. Then you are ekagra. Okay, that's such example. But you are into this session physically, but mentally you are thinking about what happened yesterday, what will happen after a few days, or that was the issue, that was the fight, so that was a kind of good memory. So your mind is not there. You are only physically actually part of this one. Then you are not ekagra. So if you are not ekagra, then either you are kshipta, either you are mudha, or either you are vikshipta. These are the three minds. You just keep observing yourself. Okay, once you now realize what exactly your mind is, in which state it is. Okay. There is also actually one type of meditation. Once you completely get absorbed into any topics, any activity, you feel actually kind of you're doing meditation, and you always feel better after that. Then niruddha is fully focused. It's like one level above the meditation, typically done by the yogis. They are into their own state of mind. So this talks about Shivta. Just remember, I'm putting more emphasis than, because this is the crux of it. Okay, you should understand. Once you understand this, then other part of the Patanjali's concept will be quite easy to understand. We will be able to correlate. So we discuss about the Shifta. This is like you are in pleasure or pain. You are like dislikes. Okay, just like a monkey, always alternative between the extreme states. So you are going into extreme pleasure, extreme pain, okay? Extreme like, extreme dislike. Okay, so this actually Shifta mind. Then the Mudha. The Mudha minds means either you get controlled by lust, anger, greed. Okay, so that actually controlling in such a way that, okay, your mind get locked into that stage, and you get into the inertia. That's the Mudha. That's called as a donkey mind. Vikshipta. So that's your moment of clarity. You have complete clarity in one moment, and you are completely confused in another moment. In that actually flicker of seconds, you are getting into one or two state immediately. Okay, so you are unstable. So it's a butterfly mind. That is called as vikshipta. So you have to vikshipta, keep in mind the butterfly, so that we come. Ekagra is like meditative, like a single pointed focus. Then you are completely dissolved, okay, yourself into any task, any activity. Not exactly the meditation means you have to only do kind of pranayama or a focus on any task you are doing, and exactly get kind of absorbed into it. That is nothing but a meditation. So there is no one between you and that task. What happens is that whatever we do, okay, there is a lot of in between thoughts comes in our mind, and that actually thoughts actually kind of distract ourselves. So ekagra, the distraction is not there. And last is that niruddha. Niruddha is that we are absolute control over the body, mind, and the sense in every phase. So when you go to niruddha phase or yogic phase, you are controlling your mind, you are controlling your senses. Now, since we are not there, we are get controlled by our mind, we are get controlled by our senses. What happened? Like we are actually doing this, within all of a sudden you get smell of very good actually cooking. Then you feel, boss, I should actually go and eat that, and you immediately go and eat it. That means that sense is controlling you. That sense has actually pushed you, okay, leave this session and go do some activity. In other way, if you are in niruddha, if you actually attain that kind of stage, then even if you actually your sense tells, okay, go and eat that, okay, you will keep that thought, okay, for a moment on hold, and you'll continue doing what you're doing, and maybe you want to eat that, maybe you'll attend or eat afterwards. Something that is called as niruddha. So you are controlling your mind, you are controlling your body, you are controlling your senses. Okay, this is more of the yogic. It's a yogic mind. Okay, so just to give a recap, so we talk about, okay, Mudha, Kshipta, Vikshipta, Ekagra, and Niruddha. Now we'll talk about what are the gunas. So I think you all actually knowing the gunas, but I'll just touch upon one or two sentences. What exactly guna? See, we have all actually we are get controlled by your mind, our senses, and the guna. The guna is actually states. Okay, So we have Rajas Guna, we have Tamas Guna, and we have Sattva Guna. So these three states come into picture. So these are the more and more details I think will come when we start actually touching up other topics, and there will be Guna will be explained in detail on those topics. But Tamas Guna is more of the inertia. Okay. So what exactly symptoms of Tamoguna? So, and these all three gunas always present in our body. Okay. So no one, if someone is saying that I'm sattvic, either he's lying or he doesn't know. So we have actually, our body is made of these three gunas. Okay. That is, each one has tamogun, rajas gun, and sattva gun. So what actually, how exactly, which gun is dominating you at that stage is actually define your state of mind. That is more important. Now, if someone says that I am only sattvic, okay, but when he sleeps, okay, at that time, okay, he has to actually go into more of the tamoguna, because that is actually what. So during our sleeping time, our body is completely dominated by tamoguna. Okay? When we are doing our activities, we are dominated by rajoguna. That is rajoguna. When we are in meditation phase, when we think good, actually all this activity, we are actually more on the sattva guna. So we are actually dominated, our body is dominated by state of three gunas, and those three gunas actually eventually dominate what is the state of the chitta. Okay? So when your mind is dull, okay, your mind is controlled by tamas. So that means your symptoms are you are in sleep, you are in fear, you are in laziness, you are in some delusion. So delusion is completely you are into some kind of dreamy state which are away from your reality. Okay. I will not actually go into more of details of this. We just focus on first actually 4 columns, which is more important on this one. Okay. So tamoguna is considered as a lower of it. Okay. There a lot of suffering happens when you are more actually kind of in part of the tamoguna. Then when you shift the distracted, your rajas and tamas gun combination comes into picture. So you have both. Okay. So your symptoms are you have pain, you actually pain, that psychology pain as well as physical pain. Okay. And when you go for the wellness, you'll come to know how exactly the pain generates. Actually, it first comes from the mind, and then it comes to the body. Okay. Then we talk about the worry. Then we have selfish action. We only think about ourselves. We are completely kind of influenced by certain thoughts. Okay. Then vikshipta. When the mind is vikshipta, the butterfly stage. Okay, partially concentrated. There, mix up rajas and tamas, rajas and sattvic comes into picture. So your mind has actually started influencing sattvic guns. So whenever there is a good, so in vikshipta, there are actually good mood, bad mood, or actually good thought, bad thought. The good thought more get influenced because of the sattvic nature of it. Okay. So so basically, you talk about others. You actually think about the joy, pleasure. You think about doing good things. You will not actually kind of selfish. Is more of the selfishness comes to picture. When you say ekagra, then you are completely into the sattvic dominated. Okay, one pointed. Say you are doing meditation for 1 hour or half an hour. Okay, so you are in completely influence of sattvic. Okay, at that time, tamogun and rajogun will be there in your body because you can't differentiate that. But you are actually more getting into the from vidya state. You are actually starting to understand how exactly this whole thing is coming into picture. Okay. These are the kind of life lessons, how exactly our mood gets changed. So once you start doing it, okay, you are actually converting yourself from avidya state to the vidya state. So you have more awareness coming up. Okay. So it's considered yogic state, ekagra state. And niruddha, it's like it's more of the nirvana state. Okay. It's more of you are going beyond gunatit, and you are more actually abiding in the cells. So it is niruddha is actually perfect yogi stage. Okay. Here I would like to take a pause and just want to check any queries, etc. We can quickly discuss. If you have anything, you can put into chat, and we can discuss. Otherwise, we'll proceed. Or if any query, you can just unmute yourself and talk. Then we'll stop. Okay. So we discuss about what are the chittas. Okay, now Patanjali beautifully explains how these chittas, okay, or chitta, okay, or state of the minds, why exactly the state of minds come, why exactly you get into the muda, why exactly get into the butterfly mode, why get into actually shifta, okay, all this. So he says, well, there are 5 types of modification happens to our mind. And all these are practical. There is no theory in this one. So you can observe yourself. Okay. I will not actually go through these shlokas, but these shlokas are important. Okay. These are 5 shlokas are important because it talks about 5 modification. Pancha chitta vrittis. Then we'll talk about vrittis. Okay. Vritti is nothing but the modification. Okay. The first vritti is a pramana. Okay. So this shlok I'll just actually call it pramana viparaya vikalpa nidra smritaya. Okay. So these are the 5 vrittis Sage Patanjali explains. Okay, so we'll go each and every one by one. Okay. So what is the pramana? So pramana is the right knowledge. So how exactly is the right knowledge? The moment you have right knowledge, okay, then modification of the mind will be in the right direction. Okay, you will not actually get suffering, you will not get the pain. What actually Patanjali is saying. So right knowledge comes from the 3 sources. Okay. I will not go into the sutra. Maybe you can go to sutra by yourself since we have actually very less time and I have to cover a lot of things. Okay. The right knowledge comes from the pratyaksha. That is pratyaksha means you are seeing is believing. Okay. So you are saying this Google Meet. Okay. Google Meet is there. You are seeing yourself. So that is right knowledge. Okay. And you are seeing through the senses. Pratyaksha. So pratyaksha, that entire thing. So that pratyaksha, that perception happens through the 5 senses. Okay. So all these senses. Okay. So basically, your eyes, ears, touch, all these senses, 5 senses actually happens. Then the second way of getting the right knowledge, anumana. Anumana is nothing but interfere. Okay. So interferes means that you don't have to experience yourself. In pratyaksha, you are experiencing yourself. Okay. In anumana, you don't have to actually experience yourself. For example, someone says, well, this is a poison. Okay, now you can say, okay, I want to do the pratyaksha. Okay, let me actually eat poison. You will die. So there actually anumana comes. So that means that interface is in inference, okay, or anumana is someone has experienced it or someone has derived it and you are actually taking the conclusion on it. That is right knowledge, that conclusion or knowledge you are taking from that interface. For example, if there is smoke, that means there is a fire. Otherwise, if there is smoke, let me actually go and touch that smoke and then let me experience. Then you will be at loss. Okay, so that is anumana, inference. Okay, from this one. And the last one is agama. Agama is a testimony, and that actually talks about. So, as per Sage Patanjali and many texts, okay, the agama gives, okay, is one of the pramana. So, if it is told in Upanishad, if it is told in Vedas, then is a testimony. Because we believe, as a Sanatana Dharma, we believe that Veda as a Purusha, it has actually come from directly from the state of the mind. Okay, it is not written by any person. Okay, it is actually a Purusha. So, what is the knowledge or what are the statements made in yoga are actually complete truth. Okay, so you can consider that as the right knowledge. You don't have to actually go into the pratyaksha or anumana. So you don't have to interfere again. Okay, so what is told in Upanishad, what is told in Veda is called as as actually right knowledge, a pramana. So that is called as agama. Agama is nothing but a testimony. Someone has told. Agama is Sanskrit word. Okay, someone has actually told that knowledge, and that knowledge is flowing after generation of generation, and we can consider that as the right knowledge. So that is actually first modification. This is a good modification happening. The next modification of the mind is viparaya. Viparaya is a wrong knowledge or wrong perception. So many times we put our own perception on the reality and we consider that modified reality is the actual reality. So that is viparaya. So what is actually the example is that there is a rope in your hand, but your mind is thinking this is snake and you are fearing about it, or you keep on actually kind of saying, okay, this rope is going to bite me, or this snake is biting me. So what was the fact or what was the reality? Reality is there is a rope. What is the modification you do? Viparaya, wrong knowledge you impose on it that it is snakes, and you are taking all decision considering this is snakes, and this happens in your life. There is a one fact, okay, or there is a truth. Then we distort that truth with our own perception, and we take decision on it. Okay, and this is a very simplistic example. Then next is vikalpa. Vikalpa. Okay. Vikalpa is nothing but fantasy or imagination, a figment of imagination. So you keep on saying, okay, if I do this, I will become that, and that will become this, and this will become. So you are into your own fancy world. Okay. So you eventually will say that, okay, if I do this, I'm going to do that, and I will become kind of CEO of the company. I'll become the prime minister of the company, or chief minister of the state. All your verbal delusion, your fantasy world, and it is nothing to do with reality. Okay. So you are completely getting detached from the reality, and you are living your own imagination world. Okay? And this is actually psychological. Many times in psychology, if you go to the extreme end, it becomes a psychological problem because you are not actually coming into the reality. So you are into that fantasy world, and that's also the modification of the mind. This is happening because of modification. So Sage Patanjali talks about all these modifications, and Vikalpa is one of them. Okay? The fourth modification is a nidra, is a sleep. Okay? The state of the emptiness or absence of any vritti. So when you are into the nidra state or sleep state, your modification of minds are not known to you. It actually happens into the unconscious way. Okay, but that's also one of the modification of it. And the fifth is the smriti. Smriti is nothing but a memory. Okay, the recollection of the good experiences, bad experiences, all our karma actually kind of generate the memory. Okay, the good memory, bad memory, and actually that storehouse. If you see, if you recall our initial slide when I talk about what are the components of the chitta. Okay, memory is one of them, and that actually plays actually major role because many times when you see the reality, at that time you want to superimpose or color it. Okay, based upon our memory because we had some bad experiences. For example, suppose some people get phobia. Why they get phobia? Because suppose someone has actually phobia of the height, because whenever they went into height, by sometimes they felt bad or there was some accident happened, so they always actually get fear of that one. So whenever they go to the height, any height, okay, on the tree or a tall building, that memory comes into picture immediately, and then they try to take a decision. They always think, no, height is not good for me. Okay, I'm feeling actually I'm not feeling good. I should actually go down. That memory actually controls it. That modification happens. Okay, so are we clear of these five chitta vrittis? Then Patanjali talks about how exactly, okay, chitta vrittis happens, how exactly it happens. So he gets into more scientific way. Okay, how exactly this happens. When you say there is actually their fear comes up, or there is a pain comes, there sorrow comes, how exactly it happens. Okay, so as we say that we have 10 senses. Okay, 10 senses, that in 10 senses, out of that the 5 active senses, that is the karmendriya, that is the karma that you are going to get at. Okay, so what exactly we are talking, we are moving, we are grasping, we actually eliminate our waste from the body, that is, all these are the karmendriya. Then 5 are the cognitive senses. Okay, so that is Dhanendriya, that is smell, taste, seeing, touching, and hearing. All these are linked with manas. Okay, the manas then start influencing your buddhi. Then buddhi starts influencing your chitta, and chitta start influencing ahankara. And each one is actually moving into the kind of circle of influencing each other, and then you generate the action. Okay, so if you're getting into mudha state, okay, or you get in shifta state, correspondingly actions will happen. If you are in mudha state, if you are into shift state, you will not do any actions which is a very good action. It's always with colored action. Is it a bad action or is it a worse action? Because you are controlled by this all these 10 senses, and the 10 senses are forcing you, okay, to take action. So that actually saying that we, due to avidya, we are completely influenced, okay, by our senses, and our senses are actually influenced and taking the action. Okay. Then he talks about, now we say that modification of the mind. Okay. Then Patanjali talks about how exactly distraction of the mind happens. So he gives in more and more details of it. Okay. So why exactly? So typically now you say, boss, yes, I know. Okay, this is the modification happens, but I don't want to do that. Yes, this is a good. Your good intent is good, but that intent is then why you are not able to do. If it is so easy, why able not? So the Patanjali says, boss, if you want to do or come out of this influence of state, there are some obstacles comes in between. you need to first understand what are the obstacles, because these obstacles are forcing you or holding you back to retaining that good state of the mind. So what are these obstacles? And obstacles are called as antarayaya. Antarayaya nothing but is a Sanskrit word. Antarayaya is obstacles. Okay. Anusya Prama Alasya Avariti Bhranti Darshan Alabh Bhumikatva Anavasthithani Chitta Vikshepa Antarayas. So these talks about the 9 antarayas. So first antaraya is nothing but vyadhi, illness, okay, either physical or mental. Okay, so if you are in disease, you are into complete pain, will you think about the concentration, will you think about the meditation, will you think about the selfishness? No, because your completely mind is get entranced into that pain coming from either the physical pain or the mental pain. So that is the first obstacle. Okay, then the stanya means you have actually mental laziness. Okay, you have actually dullness is coming up. Okay, so you are completely inertia. You don't even feel actually getting out of the bed, and will you actually do your yogasana? No. So that's your obstacle. Okay, then he talks about how to overcome that also. But let's understand what are the obstacles, what are the challenges, why people don't do that. Even if the mentally now, or even we say those, yes, I agree, this should be done, but why exactly people are now doing? The third obstacle is samshaya. They are in dilemma or indecision. They will say, really it will work. Okay, it is agama, that is the text. Okay, what actually is or interface are really correct. Okay, and when there is a fume, okay, will there be fire? Okay, so these kind of is called as a samshaya. So you are always doubting. Then the pramada, so you are careless about it. Okay, you are negligent about it. You don't feel, okay, I want to do it, but I will do it in my own way. So you are not actually putting too much kind of energy or efforts into that. Okay. Then you are alasya, that is completely you're lazy. Okay, you want to do it, but actually you are not doing. You are not taking any action. You are always thinking, okay, we should do it. Okay. Then avarati means you started doing it. Okay, or avarati means you have you don't have actually kind of attachment. Okay, you keep on. So, but just like example, you want to actually get rid of smoking habit. Okay, so you want to actually get rid of it, but actually you are not doing it. You're so attached to smoking, so that actually avarati is a good example for that. Okay. Then next is the Bhranti Darshan. Bhranti Darshan means like your false perception. You are into own kind of imagination, into kind of your own reality. So you are away from the reality. That's also obstacle. Then you are not even understand whether you should come out of it or not. Okay? Then next is Alabhya Bhumikatva. Okay? So Alabhya Bhumikatva means you are not consistent in your efforts. So you started actually doing certificate happened on January. Everyone actually enrolled for the gym. Okay, and by end of January, okay, that actually gym, no one actually goes to gym. So that is a perfect example of Alabhya Bhumikatva. So you started something, okay, but you are not able to attend yourself or remain on yourself on that journey. That is called as Alabhya Bhumikatva. So by February, okay, entire gym is actually always in the initial state. Only the very serious people are coming. So you are into Alabhya Bhumikatva. So you are not able to attend that journey. Okay. Then Anavasthithani. Okay. Anavasthithani means you are not in position to maintain your determination. That's called as Anavasthithani. Do something, you started doing something, this is like Alabhya Bhumikatva, you're not able to attend it, and you don't have that determination to attend it. So these are the 9 antarayas. Okay, these are the some kind of 4A, 2B. Just actually keep hold. I will actually explain in the end of it how to remember this. So that's more important. Either you remember the entire sutra or you go with this codification. So codification I create for myself. Okay, to remember it. I will tell you how exactly use it. Okay, at the end of the session. So when you have 9, okay, voice is low. How is voice now? Someone say that voice is low. It's for everyone. Hello. Is it okay for all?
Yes, Dhanajay.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's okay.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. 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 So full Devi Bhatia, please check it out at your end if anything is there. Okay. So when you talk about 9 obstacles, these non-obstacles are not coming alone. Okay, they are coming with, okay, vikshepa sahabhavas. Okay, so it comes with signs and symptoms. So while 9 obstacles are not happening like this one, okay, they are coming up with vikshep sarvava, means they are accompanying it. So what are the kind of, due to 9 obstacles, what exactly happens? Dukkha, darumanyasya, angajamatva, shwasa prashwasa, vikshepa sarvabhava. Dukkha, pain. So when this we are in 9 obstacles, we are struggling for these 9 obstacles, we are struggling for distracted mind or the state of the mind, the pain, the mental, physical pain comes up. And actually, as our Ayurveda yoga says, okay, your physical pain first start at the mental state. Okay, then we will discuss this into one of the other sessions also, and then it comes for the physical. So moment if you're able to catch that pain at your mental state, your physical body should actually remain out of any kind of disease. This is free. That's kind of goal. Okay. Then Daura Manasya. Daura Manasya is kind of depression or desperation. So either you kind of you to attend it, you are not concentrated, you want to actually get into that stage, okay, very quickly, or you are completely in depression stage. So that is the Manasya. Angame Jayatva. Okay, Anga Jayatva means your body is actually feeling shaking, your body is completely nervousness, you are getting the sweat. Okay, so these are the signs of these obstacles. Okay. Then next one is Shwasa Prashwasa. So Shwasa Prashwasa means whenever your mind is not okay and you observe yourself, whenever you are feeling too much anger, okay, too much hatred or too much joy, all these states, okay, good and bad, you just observe your breathing. Your breathing will be fast, your breathing will be erratic, your breathing will be irregular. You can start observing it. Okay, so he's saying is that whenever you getting, so that means your breathing is not is regular. That means either you are going into some stage of the mind which is normal state. That you can take as a kind of as a thumb rule. Okay, so these are the 4 vikshepa sahabhavas. Okay, so these are the signs and symptoms of obstacles. Then Patanjali told, now I'm just recapping, and this I'm going to take more time on this because this is the crux of actually Patanjali Yog Sutra, at least for at our level. So he talks about how exactly states of the mind should be different. Then is that how the motion happens. So what are the obstacles? Okay, not attaining the good state of the mind, and if that obstacle, what are the signs and symptoms? Then now he talks about the solution. How exactly you should keep your mind happy. He talks about the mind. Okay, Maitri Karuna Mudita Upekshanam Sukha Dukha Punya Apunya Vishanam Bhavana Chitta Prasadanam. A very important topic. Okay, I'll spend some time on this one. Before that, if any have question on what we discussed, please put it into the chat or we can talk about it. Then we'll go for it. Okay. So Patanjali now gives the solution of it. He talks about the problem. Now he gives the complete solution. He's prescribing the solution of it. How exactly? Okay, you should do that. So means chitta prasad. How exactly your mind will be happy? How the chitta will be in prasadam stage? Prasadam means in the happy state. Okay. So he talks about the 4 methods. First is the Maitri. Maitri with whom? Friendly with the prosperous person. So Maitri, friendliness towards Sukha, people who are happy. Okay. So if you are doing the friendliness with the people who are happy without actually developing the jealousy about it, otherwise what happens? Our in normal state of the mind, okay, in distracted all the state of mind, we are more jealous about them. If our happy person, okay. Instead of that, okay, if you actually have the friendliness, okay, towards the people who are happy, because that this mapping comes for any exam for L2. I think this was his last L2 exam. This question was asked 2 times in the same paper by different methods. So you should have the friendliness towards the Sukha. So this is a mapping. Maitri, Karuna, Mudita, Upekshana. So these are the methods with whom Sukha, Dukkha, Punya, Apunya, Vishana, Bhavana, Chitta Pradasana. So I'm discussing about the mapping. So you should have the Maitri, that is friendliness, okay, toward a happy people without jealousy. Karuna, you should have compassion, okay, towards the dukkhi people, unhappy people. Instead of hating them, instead of pushing them away from our life. Also, okay, don't even actually come to my way. For unhappy people, you should have compassionate. Try to help, try to understand their problem rather than actually putting in more trouble. Okay, at least try to help them for the dukh. So Maitri for the sukh, Karuna for the dukh. Then Mudita. Okay, Mudita means to be happy. Okay, or content with actually noble soul or the honest or the religious people. With punya, the good people. Okay, so you are actually mudita means actually you are happy or you are actually accompanying yourself with the people who has sattvic influence or actually who are actually doing good. Okay, for the society, we are gone for state of only thinking about oneself. Okay, so I think mudita for the punya. Then upeksha. Upeksha means a difference towards apunya people. So there will be people like people who are doing the crimes. People are actually doing a lot of bad things. Okay, and if you're watching the soap opera, you always say in the TV serial there will be good people, bad people, completely black and white. They just try to portray the characters. So if the people are apunya, okay, apunya here is more of the helpless people. It's not actually kind of evil people. More of even if it's evil there. So rather than hating them, you are indifferent about them. Indifferent means okay, you are not getting affected by because of those people. Your mind is not getting affected. That could be the right interpretation of this. Otherwise, what happens that we come into company of these people and we ourselves actually get into that state of mind. Okay. So these are the crux. I think I will a little bit go on speed. I think we are already running out of the time. So these are the techniques. Okay, so I will request you to go through these techniques by yourself because these are not so important from the exam perspective. So how exactly Manasthita Nivedana techniques to control? What are the techniques to control the mind? Okay, he talks about how exactly you can we can go from illumination with Gyan, that is the purification of the mind. Okay. Then he talks about four techniques. So that is, these are the techniques for the happy mind. Okay. Then he talks about, if you're seeing that, okay, there's another technique he's saying, Ishwar and Ishwar Pranidhana. Okay. So if you go to the Ishwar Pranidhana, complete surrender of God. Okay, God could be the any kind of highly power, you can super consciousness, okay, the nature. Okay. The total surrender of the God, that is goddess, cosmos, one divine, samadhi, okay, is attained. Okay, so either you go through these four actually mapping, I said the Sukha Dukkha, okay, Punya, what we discussed, or you go with Ishwar Pranidhana complete, or you go for the both. He's giving actually kind of method how to attain your happiness of the mind. Okay, he talks about. Then he talks about once you attain this, then you go for the Samadhi. Okay, and Samadhi path, he talks about what are the various types of Samadhi. I will not go through this all types of Samadhi because for L1 and L2 it is not in details. For L2 you should know what is actually the meaning of each Samadhi. For L1 you should not even bother about okay all the Samadhi. So I'll just touch upon who are interested more. I think you can go through the Samadhi. We can discuss separately, but considering we have time constraint, I will not go in detail. So I'll just take that. There are two types of Samadhi: Sabiji Samadhi, that is with seat, and Nirbhi Samadhi, that is without seat. And then each one has types. This is a huge topic. Okay, so I'll actually go through this one. Okay, if all interested people, you can go, or you can use skip also. Only thing you should remember about, Patanjali talks about the four samadhis. Okay, in his three samadhis in his actually one is Sabhi Samadhi, second is Nirbhi Samadhi, and third is Dharma Mega Samadhi. Okay, it's too much from the L1 L2 point of view. But if you are interested, you can